Tyler, I've seen a lot of your work. Um, you're a hot commodity in the ecom space for your creative brain. You work with a lot of really big brands and send some unforgettable texts. And I want to sort of hear your kind of thesis, your take on why brands should do more kind of conversational style campaigns in general.
Yeah, for sure. So the way I look at SMS, it's truly like the one-to-one channel where you can like connect with your subscribers, your customer base. Oftentimes you'll find like your company's text kind of in between the text from mom or like a text from a boyfriend, girlfriend. And I think that holds like so much value. So like obviously they don't just want to hear about like the latest promotion or like the latest drop, whatever it may be. You can really kind of like double down on like that interactive one-on-one communication and give them fun stuff. Give them stuff that excites them. Maybe they're like in the lull of their day. I fucked up at the end.
I'm editing this, so we have leeway.
Tyler, you're kind of known for specifically your interactive campaigns that you do for a lot of brands that I think, when we talk about conversational, I guess we kind of assume it's like open-ended or it's like supposed to have a response related to the products, but you often do like super interactive ones or quizzes. Can you give a couple examples of what those are like and some that you've built out before?
Yeah. So one brand specifically, I work with a big like hat slash apparel brand. So obviously like in the sports kind of market category. Um, And obviously, as like an avid sports fan myself, like I love anything related to trivia and like anything that I can like test my knowledge on, sports wise, whether it's like NBA, MLB, NFL, whatever it may be. So one we did with this brand was a really cool just like screen of the team colors, which is really cool because I got to like research the actual team colors and like I felt nerdy for that that period of time. So what we did, we just literally laid a graphic of the team colors and basically asked the list like, hey, like you think I believe this specific example was like a baseball team. It was like in the middle of baseball season. Um, and we were basically just like, hey, yeah, like you think you know baseball, like name this team based off these three colors. um, I believe we did give like if you get it correctly, like you'll get a prize, whether it be like a discount code on their next purchase or like whatever it may be, early access to their next drop. um, but basically just testing people on their knowledge of sports, like basically like, do you know ball, like how well do you know ball? um, and obviously people on that list, like it spoke to them because they're on that list for liking their sports teams and like they hold their sports teams close to them. So it was really good. We saw a ton of engagement, a ton of people. It's also cool because like Postscript's great at collecting responses and like collecting insights of responses. So you can literally scroll through the pages of responses and see what people are like saying. So it's cool to know like, okay, like these people actually really know like their sports, versus some people who are like, oh, like that's not even close to what the colors are. But it was really cool, interactive. We, like I said, we got great engagement. Drove like a bunch of additional revenue as well, by giving that like extra code if they got it right. And overall, again, just kind of built the relationship between this like big mega brand, um, and like the subscriber even more, which was great.
And I love that like you got a ton of incorrect responses because it's proof that quizzing everybody on something they may not even know the answer of is still not like an alienating campaign because everyone wants to like just test themselves and see if they're right or take a whack at it. So
Yeah.
it's like guaranteed engagement across the
No,
board.
for sure. And it's something as simple as like naming. I believe in this example it was like the Athletics, like the Oakland Athletics. Well, I guess they're like Sacramento, Las Vegas. I don't know where they're playing currently.
RIP. Yeah.
Yeah, but so literally it's like it takes 2 seconds to reply like A's or like athletics. So it's like the barrier, like you said, the barrier to reply is like so low. Um, Especially like if you frame it, like you make it fun, you make it engaging, kind of again, like testing your knowledge, test your trivia. I know like everyone loves doing trivia, whether it's like trivia nights at a bar or like I know personally I go on YouTube and like with my wife and we'll watch like YouTube trivia and I'll just answer it myself. I don't know if I'm different or if other people do that. But it's just fun. It's like something to do. It's fun. And again, it's like if you're hitting them at that right point in their day where they might have some free time, they might be a little bit bored and they see that, it's gonna do, great engagement and they're gonna again tie kind of like hold your brand in a higher light than others.
Side note, there used to be an app called QuizUp that would test your trivia against like random strangers on the internet across like a million categories. Anyway, the important part of this story is that I was the nationwide leader in the Lord of the Rings trivia topic for QuizUp for 2
That's
months straight.
How
that's
many
the
people
that's the important part.
how many people were in that segment?
I don't know. They had millions of users on the app, but for that category, who knows?
Wow.
Probably 5. So I was number 1 out of 5. I digress.
Isn't this part of your text back bio as well?
It is actually. Hey, relevant content.
I feel like an important piece to this for people that are thinking about doing something like this is the fact that they might be getting a ton of responses. So if you're doing like a quiz thing, like this example you threw out, do you need to, as a brand, be prepared to continue the conversation? Or is it enough to just like get the engagement, see that people are like excited about the content, and like sometimes that's enough? Or are there ever like instances where you're doing something like this and the hope is that there's like a little bit of a back and forth or like maybe a different outcome?
Yeah, I definitely think like in a perfect world there would be some back and forth. Obviously, I know some teams are strapped, which is like we have a great like auto response builder within Flow Builder, so like you can really like make it personalized, make it like it's a real person. So that's like a great option, but like nothing beats like the one-to-one. Again, like SMS is truly like a one-to-one kind of conversation. So like nothing beats having like the one-on-one because yeah, we have seen like examples in the past where like you continue the conversation. So it might be like, oh, like it was the A's, and then did you catch the game? And it might just go into like sports history and just like fandom for this specific example, obviously. So I think yeah, in a perfect world, like you would continue that conversation if possible. If not, there's a lot of good tools that PostScript has to make it so you can kind of continue it in like a faux way. But I even think like let alone like the individual campaign, but like just the synergy of having like a conversational campaign and then next week you might hit another conversational campaign. I think that synergy is like awesome too. You'll see like week over week, like you'll get more people responding and engaging, and at the end of the day, like obviously that's what we want is people like moving buckets, if you will, and segmentation, getting to like the most engaged bucket, so we can, when we do have like product launches, when we do have like sales, last calls, whatever it may be, like they're super engaged because they are constantly talking to your brand. Continue like the fun engaging stuff, get them to the highest level of engagement, and then from there they're way more likely to purchase and trust and like your brand.
If you don't give subscribers a chance to engage, there's no chance they're going to climb that engagement ladder and
Yeah,
get kind of
exactly.
re-qualified, right?
Yeah, and again, I think it doubling down on like, okay, if I'm hammering this list with like promotion, like flash sale, flash sale, flash sale, like they're gonna get immune to it and they're not gonna really care because it's always happening. Two, it's just not interactive, like engaging content that they want to see. And again, like your texts are kind of buried between their best friends, their parents. So how like are you gonna stand out? A flash sale like consistently isn't probably gonna stand out.
Yeah. If someone wants to scroll through 30 spammy flash sales, they'll go to their inbox, their email inbox.
Yeah, for sure.
Do you ever do a test where you're like, let's actually like split the list or do any kind of A/B test? We're like, we're gonna send them a regular campaign, and then we're gonna send this interactive one or whatever it may be.
Yeah, 100%. I always recommend testing it. As you can imagine, like a lot of merchants don't want to dive kind of head first into conversational. It's something new, something they don't, you know, really have done in the past because obviously emails is not great for conversational. So yeah, definitely testing as much as possible. Whether, like you said, it's an A/B test, and we're testing, just a normal marketing message versus like a more interactive side of it, tracking, click-through rates, conversion rates, response rates in the back end, all that kind of stuff. Or even if it's just testing like to a small segment, so they're only getting the conversational campaign, but it's again getting their feet wet, seeing okay, this is like the kind of responses you can get. And I think also too, it's like it's one of those things where it's like the more you do it, the more they kind of feel comfortable replying. At first, it's like new to them, they're not expecting anything to come out of it. As far as like the subscriber journey goes or like their experience goes. But the more you show, like, hey, like you can reply to this and like you will receive a text back and you can have a conversation with us, they'll feel more comfortable, and you'll see over time, like slowly more and more, like the response rate will grow, which I also think is like a really cool thing to see.
Got text back in your answer. It's the name of our show.
Did I say that?
What a
Perfect.
great organic clip to use.
I'm gonna add it to the teaser. So Tyler, I hypothetically, well, kind of unhypothetically, run an e-commerce brand called Tortillas. I sell protein tortillas. Huge market. You know,
I'm not
we're
gonna say it.
growing decade over decade, 2%. And I want to start trying conversational. What's like an easy type of campaign I could throw to my list of 12 people that would start driving engagement?
Yeah, first one that comes to mind is the quiz campaign. Obviously, the easiest to set up. It could be on like a handful of different things. It could be about what was the name of your brand? Tortinos?
That's better, actually. Tortillas.
You can quiz about like the history of your brand. So
Mm.
like when it was founded, questions about the founder, like how it came to be, is always like the easiest to get started because that's like the stuff you know the most. It could be just about like any like upcoming holidays. So maybe if Cinco de Mayo is coming up, you can quiz about like Cinco de Mayo and how it works with tortillas and whatever it may be. Like you can find an angle that works and like you feel comfortable with, and like be a little wacky, have a little fun with it. Um, but definitely quiz is like the easiest, and then from there, obviously, you can go to like a little bit more complex ones. There's like crosswords we've done, like word searches we've done. Um, and obviously, like you'll learn too when people like start replying, when you start doing it, like you'll kind of get a sense of like what they like, what they want to see, what they're like excited to answer, what may be like a low response rate. And you can kind of like tweak your strategy from there. But definitely, yeah, 100% quiz is the easiest to start. Thanks, Ren and Laura. It's been a pleasure chatting today, and hopefully, I see some more conversational campaigns sitting out on Postscript. I'm subscribed to like 100 brands, so I'll see if you guys are sending interactive campaigns.
And you'll respond.
I will respond because it's the best
So
best best part of my day.